How did January feel like it had 175 days in it, but then February felt like a week? Friends! Hello! Welcome back to Amethyst Craftworks. I am Samantha, and how are you guys doing today? We have a wrap up for February for the Movie Marquee today. Already, it genuinely feels like February just started, and yet here we are. As of recording this, hopefully, fingers crossed, as of you're seeing this, today is the 28th of February, so it is the last day of the month. Who knows where time went, let me tell you, because I sure have no clue. But that's fine, it's fine, because March means new month, new movie, and since it's March, that means it's my pick, which is always the most exciting for me. Right? I'm sure it's just as exciting for you. Here's hoping, right? So, I've got some updates on what I did in February for the Movie Marquee. We've got a movie pick to do, the first one of mine for the year, which is very exciting. We've got some yarn to talk about, some patterns, all that good stuff. So if you're down for that, maybe grab yourself a drink. Today I have myself a nice cup of coffee, and let's get into it. Taking a sip here. Oh, the coffee is wonderful. I have had a pretty good February. As I mentioned in the first video for the Movie Marquee for February, February is my birth month. My birthday was on the 23rd of February. I had a lovely, lovely birthday. I took some time off of work, had dinner with the family, got to see some peeps that I haven't seen in a while, celebrated, ate good food, and then I had some time off to sort of putter around my house and, work on things, crochet, of course, clean, all the kind of, catch up on chores, kind of all the things that you do when you have, some time off of work. But today, I've got something way more important to even do. Let us actually get into the update for the Movie Marquee. So, I guess let's start here. So, the Movie Marquee, in case you're unfamiliar with this project, it is a year-long make-along that is hosted by me, by Bella from Bella's Crocheted Gifts, and Heather the Crochet Witch. Hello, my friends. The three of us are each taking turns picking a movie every month, and then that is the challenge of the Movie Marquee Challenge. Everybody is using that movie's poster. Excuse me there, had a little frog in my throat. Anyway, everyone is using that movie's poster to pull colors and inspiration for a project, whatever that project is for you. For me, I'm doing hat and scarf, hat and cowl, wintry type sets that I'm going to donate at the end of the year. Pretty much anywhere that will take them. I've got a link in the description down there to a local charity to me called Knit Hope. I think that's where most of my donations are going to go, but to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't fully decided. There's other options. I had Gabby, hi Gabby, suggested a really wonderful charity to me as well that takes handmade, crocheted, knitted, scarf and hat sets. There's other options, like I've talked to my friends, who work in nursing homes. The besties both work in nursing homes. And I thought, hat and scarf, hat and cowl sets would be wonderful to give off to the senior citizens that live there. So I've got options, but I've also got a hair in my eye that keeps bothering me. There we go. Okay. Crisis averted. Anyway. So I've got options for where my donations are going to go. It's still early enough in the year that I can sort of figure things out as I go. But that's the main part of my year-long project, is making hat hat and cowl, hat and scarf sets to donate in the colors of the movie poster, as well as other color combos, and we'll get into that for February. However, if you happen to miss my 2025 goals video, I will link you to it up there. In that video, I showed off some granny squares that I was making for sort of what ended up being kind of like a memory blanket for 2025 is kind of what ended up happening. I'm making granny squares for books that I'm reading, books that I'm listening to, and I'm doing Duolingo. I'm learning Japanese, so I'm doing granny squares to commemorate each section, because each section in Duolingo has its own color scheme to it. And I also decided that I was going to do granny squares for the movie marquee as well. Work these movies into my 2025 memory blanket as well. And so this square is for this movie, Alice in Wonderland, which was Bella's pick for February. So these are all the colors that I had picked for February. Purple, orange, a couple shades of green, and then pink. I love the way this turned out. I also did this first because this doesn't take a lot of yarn. And as we will discuss here as we go, I ended up running out of a couple of the colors. So I'm glad I got this done first. That way, this is like complete check mark. It's done. And then I could use the rest of the yarn for the rest of the things, right? So Alice in Wonderland was the color inspiration for this month. And I actually have in my Movie Marquee project bag the projects that I completed instead of the yarn that I used to complete them. So let's open this first set. Now this set has all the colors. Make sure I'm holding it the right way around. Sometimes it's hard to tell where the seam is, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing to not know where the seam is. Well, it doesn't matter. So this is a chevron hat. Nice little chevron beanie. There we go. In the colors that I picked for Alice in Wonderland, the greens, the purple, the pink, and then the orange. The pattern that I did for this is from Fiber Spider, which I will link to you down below in the description. There's always all sorts of links down there. Click around if you're curious, if you want links to patterns and things. They're always down in the description box. This, I love it. I love the way it turned out. I love the colors together. These are my kind of colors, except for the pink. The pink really isn't my cup of tea. But the other colors are, like orange, purple, green. Hello, that's Halloween. Clearly, I love those colors together. So I really like the way this turned out, and I thought a chevron hat kind of accentuated the stripy nature of the colors and so on and so forth. So I made a hat in all the colors of the movie's poster, and then I made a scarf. And this is where all the yarn kind of disappeared into. So this scarf is a chevron scarf. And I essentially took the stitch count, stitch pattern for the chevron that Fiber Spider did in the hat and just translated it to a flat piece. And then, you know, made a whole entire scarf. It's a little shorter than my wingspan, so I can stretch the whole scarf out here. So it's probably 5.5 feet long, or, you know, 5 3/4 foot long. But it turned out, I think, in my opinion, gorgeous. It's a little bit lacy because, you know, chevron patterns tend to be lacy. They've got, you know, eyelets and gaps and yada yada. But I think they look fabulous together, right? And it makes a fun set. I think it really pulls the inspiration together, both in color and the sort of wavy, whimsical pattern for Alice in Wonderland. So this was the first set. And I ran out of the purple, which was Amethyst from Red Heart Super Saver. I ran out of the brighter green, which was Forest from Big Twist Value from Joanne's. May Joanne R.I.P. Anyway. And then the green, the olive green that's on the top and the bottom, I was using this for another project, which was also in my goals, 2025 goals video. For my temperature steak, I'm telling you, if you missed that 2025 goals video, you really missed out on a lot of updates. But I'm using this dark forest, deep forest, I think is the color name, in my temperature steak, and I was worried that I was going to run out of it because I used so much of it here. So 3 colors essentially sort of got wiped out after I finished this hat and scarf, and then also the granny square, which is upside down. There we go. Right? So I got my 1 set done for the month, for the challenge. And so then, let me grab it over here. Oh, hold on. Hang on. Chaos is happening. So I made another set in like totally different colors. There we go. Make sure the reflection isn't on it. So this set I made with clearly black and yellow, and I've mentioned it quite a few times here before, but I live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. I don't live in like actual Pittsburgh, like downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I live in like a suburb outside of Pittsburgh, but I'm basically in Pittsburgh. And if you're familiar with Pittsburgh, if you have family, if you yourself live here, if you have friends that live here, you have one friend that lives here, let me tell you. But anyway, if you are familiar with the Pittsburgh area and even like the surrounding counties and everything, you will know that my city is absolutely obsessed with their sports teams. And every sports team, like big national sports teams, so football, baseball, hockey, all of them have the same team colors, which are black and yellow. Now, the Steelers are football, and I'm probably going to get kicked out of my town for saying this. I'm not a fan of the Steelers. I don't care about sports. Sports is so low on my like radar that it like doesn't even register. But I know that living in Pittsburgh, and if this donation is going off to someone who lives in Pittsburgh, it's very likely, more likely than not, that they are a fan of one of the sports teams, very likely at least the Steelers, and so black and gold, black and yellow, it kind of had to happen. So this is a fiber spider pattern again. It is a Alpine stitch. Alpine stitch? I'm pretty sure Alpine stitch hat. It's big. Like, I can even put it on over top of my actual hat that I have. Well, that's a look. But it's a big hat, and it's very stretchy. There we go. Let's fix the sandworm hat. There we go. So it's a big hat. I figured it could fit like a big guy with a lot of hair. You know, I'm trying to sort of alternate between like large size adult and then small size adult, because this set is, I would say, on the smaller side. It still fits me, and I have I think a 23-inch head, 22 and a half. I've got a big head, so if it fits me, I kind of figure it's gonna sort of fit anybody. But that's a small set, I would say, small. And then this set with the big hat, and then the matching cowl, also in black and gold. I figured this set might make some dude or lady, but maybe a lady with a lot of hair. More hair, certainly more hair than I have. Anyway, regardless of this, I thought this might make some Steeler fan, regardless of gender, happy, right? So the cowl is the middle section here from the yellow granny to the yellow granny is the Destination Anywhere neck warmer from Heather, which I'll put in, link to it down below. Same with the Alpine stitch hat. And then I just did, instead of like regular front back post ribbing, I did the Alpine stitch for the ribbing at the top so it matches the hat. It's very nice. Again, not my personal cup of tea, but if it's not Halloween or like solid black or, or neon green and such, it's not my cup of tea anyway. And that's not what these are supposed to be, right? These are going off to someone else, so they don't have to be my cup of tea. Right? Right. So then, gotta grab it off here. This isn't 100% completed. I have the hat done, but the cowl, scarf, second part to the set is not started or, anything. But I had pink left. Pink from the Movie Marquee color palette that I had selected. I had a lot of pink left and then orange and such left too. So I decided to make a pink hat. Now, the tails aren't woven in. None of the tails are woven in. In fact, I just finished this last night. I thought I needed like a third set for the month. And so I decided to make a little stripy beanie, mostly in pink. And then I used a variegated Karen Jumbo, Karen 1 pound. And then like khaki color that matches the Karen 1 pound jumbo, whatever it is. And this one is just a Happy Berry crochet, simple beanie. Again, links will always be down there with the front and back post ribbing on the bottom. In fact, that's what this is too. Like, this is the same hat pretty much, just different colors, right? So I did this. I'm gonna make a cowl or a scarf or something in these colors to match it. I didn't get it completely done in February, but I'm not worried about it, and I'm also not like, beating myself up about it. It is what it is. It's going to get done. I started it in February. I would not have picked these colors together had the movie poster not had this like salmony pink color in it and the sash and his hat. You get it, right? So I'm counting this still as a win for February. And those are what I completed for the month. Mostly. I completed 2 sets and then half of another, right? So that was February. Now let's move on to March. Now, if this is your first time joining us for a Movie Marquee, or specifically joining me for a movie draw for the Movie Marquee, then you will not be familiar with the fact that I put all of my little pieces of paper with my movies in it in this yarn bowl. This has been my vessel for picking movies. It's a little bit dusty. I should have probably cleaned it before I started here, but that's fine. Pardon if you see the dust and stuff flying. So anyway, this yarn bowl was customized for me by Bestie Alex. I am absolutely in love with it. It is one of my favorite possessions, and in it goes 4 pieces of paper, each with a movie written on it. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all going in there. If they'll fit. Hold on. There we go. Now, my movies, I will say last year, for example, my movies had a theme. They were all new movies. So 2024's picks for me were movies that came out in 2023. This year, I think my theme is nostalgia. I think so. Movies that sort of have a special place in my heart. Movies that I love, clearly, or I wouldn't have picked them. Movies that remind me of times in my life or being a kid or like a fun story. Something that I will, of course, share with you as we go along here. But I've got all four in here. We're going to mix them up kind of as best as I can. But then I'm not even going to look. And I'm going to pick this one. Am I holding it up? Okay. So, let's see. Put the other ones there. I'm really trying super hard not to even look at the paper because the marker that I wrote it down on the paper bled a little bit. So I'm trying not to look. So apologies if I hold it up and it ends up upside down. We'll fix it. But this is the movie for March. I'm going to show it up to you. You guys get to see the first reveal, and then I will peek and so on. So ready? We'll go in 3, 2, 1. What is it? Is it upside down? It's not. It is. Ho-ho! Can you see it there? Jurassic Park. OMG, Jurassic Park. Now, this is, I dare say, my favorite movie of all time. If it's not number 1, then it's number 2. Full stop. The OG, the original Jurassic Park, was a movie that I went and saw with Bestie Lauren when it came out. She and I have, let me set this down so I'm not gesturing it at you. She and I have been friends since we were 5, I think, which is, cough, cough, like 35 years, 36 years now. And when I think we were 7 maybe? I think Jurassic Park, did it come out in 91? I think. So we were 7 when it came out. And let's have a little story time here before I even go to pick movies, okay? Now, I did talk about this once in like a tag video many, many moons ago. So I'm confident that I'm like not retelling a story here that you've heard a million times. This is probably a new story for you. So 7-year-old little Samantha and Lauren, we wanted to see this movie like nothing else. Dinosaurs became our entire personality, as it did for a lot of kids that grew up in the 90s. Like, dinosaurs were a thing in the 90s. We wanted to see this movie so bad. And at the time, this was when movies sold out. Like, new movies, getting a ticket for a brand new movie on like a Friday night was a really popular movie. A lot of hype, a lot of, marketing around it. You weren't getting a ticket. Jurassic Park was that type of movie. I think we had gone to see it at least twice that I can remember, but it might have been more, where it was just sold out. Every show, like, for the entire evening, on the day that we went to go see it, was sold out. I think my parents took us one time, and then Lauren's mom took us another time. Both were sold out, completely sold out. So back then, there were also cheap movie theaters. So movies that weren't brand new, but hadn't quite made it to home VHS yet. They got to the cheapy theaters, where instead of, I don't remember how much the tickets were, let's say instead of $10 in a new movie, for a new movie theater ticket, $10. At the cheap theater, it was $5. But they weren't brand new movies, they were movies that had been out for like months, and it wasn't quite time yet to release them for home viewing, so they went to this like secondary theater. Anyway, by the time Jurassic Park hit the cheap theaters, we finally were able to go see it. My parents, my mom and dad, took little 7-year-old Lauren and little 7-year-old Samantha to see this movie. We were so excited, and we were also way too cool to sit with my parents. Like, at this point, Jurassic Park had been out for months and months, so it was pretty empty in the theater. We kind of had our pick of seats. So my parents sat sort of in the back, in the middle, where I myself, current Samantha, would sit. Like, you get a good view of the movie screen, you're in the back, you're not right up front. Good seats. But little Lauren and little Samantha were like, we're sitting right up front, like, second row, and we're sitting by ourselves because we are way too cool to sit with the old folks, right? So we did. Sat up front, like craning our necks to see the movie. And if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, you know exactly what part I'm going to talk about here. If you've never seen Jurassic Park, what the heck is wrong with you? But also, spoilers, I guess, for the movie, for like a 35-year-old movie. But when you first get to see the T-Rex, it's raining, it's dark, there's 2 young kids in a car alone. The T-Rex kind of comes looming out of the fencing that's down. It eats the goat. It like roars. Little Samantha and little Lauren pooped their pants. Figuratively, but also maybe literally, because we were terrified. Absolutely terrified. And at this point, we went running to the back of the theater to sit like sandwiched between my parents because we were so terrified of this T-Rex. It is one of like my fondest memories because my parents, we were young and my parents took us, and it's a funny, now it's funny to talk about memory with me and my best friend she's still my sister, she's still my best friend. And it like endeared me to this movie even more than, like Dinosaur Mania that occurred after Jurassic Park. And so, that is why Jurassic Park was in the Movie Pick Bowl for this year, for 2025. One of my absolute favorite movies. Could not love it more. And so now that I have regaled you in a ridiculous story, let's get to the yarn, okay? I'm gonna raid my stash, raid my scrap bins, pull some colors from the poster, which I didn't even mention here. So the poster, now, the OG poster is over there. And you are, of course, more than welcome to use red, yellow, and black as your color scheme for the month, if you so choose. However, I found this movie poster, which has a few, maybe a couple extra colors in it for you to select from. I myself am going to pick from this second poster. Although, red and yellow and black, they're going to be in there. I'm just going to tell you right now. So this is the poster that we are working with. If you can't find a color in there that you like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, come on. So I'm going to go raid my stash and my scrap bins for yarns, and then we will come back and we will discuss the colors that I have picked, and then I will let you go. Okay, so hold on. Let me go do that, and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. So I went and raided my yarn stash. I didn't pick a ton of colors. This may change as the month progresses, as March progresses. But for now, I've picked a whoa. There we go. So for now, I have picked a small smattering of yarns to use. One of which we'll get to, but one of which is like not representative of the yarn that I picked. Let's just pull it out first. So this little scrippity scrap is a Loops and Threads Soft Classic, just in the color black. This is the end of the yarn that I used for, hang on, my Steeler set. This is what I had left over from a full skein of the Loops and Threads, which is 354 yards. So this is all I had left. So what I was trying to say was I'm using black in my color choices for the month of March, but like this is going to get me nowhere, right? So I'm going to use this up and then add other black because do I have other black yarn? Does a 10-pound bag of flour make a really big biscuit? So it's like, duh, of course I do. So black is going into the mix, but that black anyway. So, of course, I've got yellow. This is Big Twist Value. Oh, it makes me so sad. Big Twist Value and Varsity Yellow. I'm pretty sure. I can't get to the color name on the label. So, Varsity Yellow, black, yellow, and red. This one is Deep Red from Big Twist Value. So, these colors together are the original poster, right? The dinosaur T-Rex outline, like skeleton silhouette, the red and the yellow. I also picked another shade of yellow. This one is called Varsity Gold, I think. What the heck? Where are we? Varsity Gold, yeah, so this is Varsity Gold. So I picked another yellow because I don't have a lot left of the Varsity Yellow. So Varsity Gold may go in as well or in place of the yellow, right? You get me. So these are colors that I picked out first. Oh, this is just a pitiful scrap. But then we've got the Deep Red. And this is Slime from, again, Big Twist Value. Other than that scrap of black, every other color was a Big Twist Value. These two together, the poster should already be up there, but if it's not, I'll put it back up. The Jeeps in the movie Jurassic Park, they're pictured in the poster, I think in the bottom corner, one of the bottom corners. The Jeeps are green and red, like a neon green and a bright red. And so we are putting these together as well for Jurassic Park to do the Movie Marquee projects with. Now, I will say, these colors together, hold on, this scrap of black is it's just falling apart everywhere. These colors together actually work pretty well. They're kind of primary. If I added blue, which blue, I don't really have, like, I don't think I have any that's like primary blue. I'm trying to think. I don't think I do. I have some light blues. I've got minty blue, clearly, but anyway, minus the blue, this is very primary color. So I don't think I need to add brown or white, but I do have black as well on top there. I could add some brown, I could add some gray, so on and so forth, and I might do that for this month. But so far, these are the colors. Mostly I just wanted to use the colors of the Jeeps because those Jeeps are iconic. If I could somehow have one of those Jeeps and like ride around town in that Jeep, I would feel like the coolest MF on the planet. But anyway, that's the movie marquee for March. Those are my yarn picks. That's my movie pick. What do you think? Do you like Jurassic Park as much as I do? Needless to say, I'm a big fan of the movie franchise. I really liked Dominion? Fallen Kingdom Dominion? Is that the last one? The last one. I did see there's another Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom or something coming out, or it's another offshoot story, because the original story with Ian Malcolm and Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler, and then the secondary story with Owen and Claire? Is that her name? Dallas Bryce Howard? Dallas Howard Bryce? Bryce Dallas Howard? Was her name Claire? Regardless, it kind of tied both of those stories together and then gave it an ending. So I think there's another one coming out. I think I loved Dominion, the last one, because it had Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler and Ian Malcolm in it. I think I have mentioned also here before that Jeff Goldblum is one of my absolute favorite human beings on the planet. So anything with him in it is A+ to me. And Ian Malcolm, I think, is my favorite character of his that he has ever played. So him, like the older versions, and like it was great. I loved it. I don't necessarily think it was like critically acclaimed, but I loved it because I'm a fan, right? So the original movie, the first movie, and then the very last movie are probably my favorites. Like, I could babble on here for hours and hours about Jurassic Park, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Instead, I will just say thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing and commenting and all that good stuff. Let me know what you're working on in the month of March, what colors you picked. Do you like this movie? Do you have a fun story like I do from childhood about this movie? Let me know. And until I've got an update on these projects or something else to show you, I will just let you go now. Thank you for watching and take care. Goodbye.